Guys, my name's Becky and welcome back. If you're new to my channel, I make books mainly about manga and sometimes occasionally about the other book, but mainly about manga. Today's video is going to be a One Piece video. I'm actually going straight back into One Piece. It's been almost a year since I read it because of life being crazy, so I am excited to get my teeth back into One Piece. What I normally do in my One Piece videos is I started off reading the volumes but now I've moved into reading the arcs. So I have got up to volume 79 of One Piece now. So we're going to go straight into the Arabasta saga, which I believe is volume 17 to volume 20 to part of volume 24. So as you can see, this is the entire Arabasta saga. I have bookmarked volume 17 to volume 24 to where I need to read. So we're gonna go ahead and go straight into the volumes. I might have to put this video into two parts because of how many volumes there are. So I've just finished volume 17 and chapter 155 and we can already see the start of this arc. And so basically the chapter starts off with us getting introduced to Sir Crocodile and seeing him as a hero to the people of Arabasta, and that the king is indebted to him because his soldiers couldn't get there in time. And then obviously we get an explanation of how Baroque actually works, which was interesting. So like all the females are days and all the males are numbers, and the fact that he's seen as a hero, so we get a bit of reiteration there. I don't think we really needed the reiteration about him being a hero, but I suppose that was just information for the Straw Hats to get their information there, I suppose. But what I did find interesting is that they're basically getting their end goal, and they're all the Baroque works are gathering up together. So I'm gonna go straight into volume 18. I think, yeah, I am going to split this video into two parts. I'm going to read up to volume 20 today and then probably volume 24 next week, because this is a really long arc and I want to take my time with it because I assume a lot of things are going to happen in this arc. So chapter 156 was an interesting read. So they're going through this volcanic steam that's rising from the sea, and they're just talking about this island and they can't see, and then this other ship goes through and they're fishing, Luffy and anyway, they were fishing and they end up pulling this guy who we don't know who he is at first, but he shows them that he's got devil fruit powers and that he can basically become anyone, which is very dangerous in this situation. And then you just spend time and they become friends, and when he gets rescued he tells them he's number 2 of the organisation. They say that if they make an enemy of him then it's going to be very dangerous because they won't know who to actually trust, which is going to be, I think that's going to happen later on at some point, or whether the fact that they've made friends with him is going to be interesting. So yeah, there's like little building blocks going on here, I think. So let's move on to the next chapter, shall we? Chapter 157. So chapter 157 and 158 were a bit action-packed. We're introduced to Luffy's older brother Ace, who's actually looking for him because of the wanted poster, and they have arrived in Arabasta, and we're seeing some familiar faces from the Navy who from what I remember from last time I read Luffy. But all of Luffy's crew have disguised themselves because they need to go to this place called Yuba to stop the rebels. But because Luffy has gone to the restaurant, he's bringing the Navy back to them. But it looks like Ace is actually gonna end up helping them. So I think this is going to be the first kind of point of the arc. We're going to see more of Ace. I like Ace's design. I can sort of tell he was Luffy's brother, and the personalities are very similar, but it looks like a fight is going to happen now between Ace and the smoke guy. So I'm going to go ahead and read the next two chapters. So more interesting developments. Ace manages to get rid of the Navy and goes to Luffy as they get back on the ship and just talks to him about how he wants him to join Whitebeard's crew because he is the second in command for Whitebeard, but Luffy says no. And I think Ace has eaten a devil fruit. It didn't seem like... It was a bit confusing, and then I reread it, but he's got powers, so I assume he has. But he's quite good. He's quite respectable, but like there's still a bit of aloofiness to him, if that makes sense. Almost like their personalities are different but similar at the same time. So which I find is good because siblings do tend to have some siblings can be completely different or they can be really similar. I have a brother and he can be similar to me, but he can also be, he's a brother, you know, they're like, but younger brother, might I add, 2 years younger than me. Yeah, and then the next chapter is just focused on like gathering all the agents together in a town, and they're going to head to the boss. So like everything's being put into place. Also, I can't believe we've got to look at all the agents on one of the pages. Also, I can't believe one of the agents is called Miss Doublefinger. Doublefinger? Really? I can't get over that name, to be honest with you. But yeah, I did mention that they did realise that, was it Mr. Number 3 survived in the earlier chapters? I did forget to mention that. I'm sorry, my dog's barking. But yeah, let's move on to the next 2 chapters. I believe I've got 162, 62, 64. Yeah, so still got about 6 chapters left. So I will see you then after the next 2 chapters. So very interesting development so far. So they're traveling through the desert to find Yuba, and Luffy is being incredibly stupid. Like this is like these seal creatures, and they beat Usopp up, and Luffy kind of apprentices, and then Chopper has to give them half their supplies to stop them following. So they end up going in the desert, and then Luffy gets tricked by these birds to be outsmarted, and it's just about them traveling through the desert, like all of their supplies, and they're trying to reach Yuba. It just seems like a difficult place to get to be honest, and just Luffy is just not helping the situation because he's so hot-headed. But we did have a really nice emotional moment from Vivi telling us about like the rain powder and how it dried up the atmosphere because of the rain clouds, and it was like a plot by Sir Crocodile, and this really fires Luffy up. So we did get that nice serious moment mixed in with all the comedic that's going on, and the chapter's just like chapter 162 has just ended where the ground is rumbling, so I'm intrigued because they still haven't reached Yuba yet. They said that the hopefully to last till nightfall, and it's now night, so let's hope that they can get to Yuba. So we got to look at Vivi's backstory about like the town of Yuba and her childhood friend called Kosu, because she's been reunited with this man called Toto she didn't recognise. So the whole last couple of chapters have just been like explaining her relationship to that and who Kozu is, who is actually the leader of the rebellion. So I feel like this is going to be the first hurdle in this arc where they're going to have to fight these guys, or whether they can come to some sort of negotiation. But the country has just kind of changed. I feel like Vivi's father is either being manipulated by something, or I don't know, there's something going on with their father, because from what I've seen in the flashbacks, he seems very different to the way he acts now, whether he's just changed as a person or whether he's just being manipulated. I'm not sure, but I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. So I'm going to finish the last 2 chapters for today, and then that is volume 18 read, and then I will probably read volume 19 and 20 tomorrow because it is getting late now. So that is volume 18 finished. So that is the first kind of arc finished. So what I found really interesting is that so basically we are seeing like Sir Crocodile's plan to do like a utopia, and like Arabasta is going to fall. We're not told what exactly he's after, just that Arabasta itself is going to fall, so I'm intrigued. I want to know more, but hopefully that will come later. And then they've been given in this meeting, because all of the Baroque works have been given like the Straw Hats pirates' identities, so this is going to be really interesting because they're going to go after. And then Luffy and V. Luffy says he wants to quit because he thinks they're wasting time with the rebels. He wants to go find Sir Crocodile straight away because of V. So he's actually making sense for once because it's Luffy. And I really feel like he's going to take the fight to Sir Crocodile. I think that's what's going to happen in the next volume. So we'll see what happens. So I am going to leave it there for today. I will see you tomorrow, and we're going to go straight back into the reading. Hello, so it's the next day. It's a bit late, so I'm only going to be reading volume 19 for today. So I've just read the first 3 chapters of volume 19, and wow, things are going crazy. So basically we've got like a strategy that each army is going to attack the base, like the Rain bases. So Luffy and his crew have made it to Rain base, or whatever it was called from what I remember, and they end up getting captured by Sir Crocodile because they get mistaken by because he's quite a formidable foe, so they get stuck inside his like base, I guess. And then Smoker appears out of nowhere. That just somehow the navy happens to be there, and it's revealed that he has like this sea prism that can, like, there's a couple that can affect devil fruit users, like the power of the sea, so that's interesting. So Luffy does have a weakness. Well, we knew the weakness was a sea, but it's interesting how this is another weakness that's come into play. And they want the princess, but she has been fighting people, and this warrior comes in and helps save her, who is one of the only flying devil fruit powers. So he's like this hawk guy, and Miss All Sunday has showed up, and it doesn't look good. But also, update on the king. I thought he might have been a bit more complicated, but turns out he actually does want to stop Sir Crocodile, so he is aware of the plot. It just seemed like he didn't want to do anything. He'd grown a bit complacent, so it looks like he's going to do something. And then the rebels still want to attack, so they haven't done anything as of yet. But things are all looking a bit crazy. I will say this feels very different to like the first volume. It feels like we're really in like this big political war that's happening at the moment. So let's carry on in the next few chapters. Well, it is all going to utter shit at the moment, pretty much. So obviously they've been captured by Sir Crocodile. Vivi gets captured by Miss Wednesday because she's got devil fruit powers where she can basically manipulate where her limbs grow, and Vivi ends up with everybody with Sir Crocodile. She tries to attack him. Obviously it's revealed he's got powers where he can turn himself into sand, and there's the whole rebellion going on because the king, the number 2 of the organisation, has framed the king, saying that he was the coward because everybody wanted him to maintain the king's innocence. So at least I knew there was something going on there. I did think he would show up later. And the rebel leader's been shot. So Crocodile revealed his plan, that the kingdom, basically they're all fighting each other, so he wants the destruction of the kingdom. And even with the navy, then like the navy guys in there, and he said that like Smoker doesn't consider him an ally. It's just like the world government is obviously corrupt, like if it's being powered by these warlords, pretty much like real life, to be honest. But basically Sir Crocodile, I think, has her father, so he's given Vivi a compromise with the key. Either she goes for her friends or her father, and he's dropped it in some water with his, like, you know, his big crocodile. So it's all a bit concerning at the moment. So I think what I'm gonna do, I have 4 chapters left, so I'm gonna read the next 4 chapters, and I will see you when I'm done with them. So that is volume 19 read, and wow, they've managed to get out of the cage, because I did forget where Sanji and Chopper were. So Vivi did have this choice of obviously going after to prevent the civil war that's about to happen in 8 hours, or saving her friends, so she chose to save her friends. Mr. Crocodile leaves them because he gets distracted by Sanji coming to rescue them. By the banana gators, not the alligators, the banana gators. Okay, so there's a bit of a fight with the thing, because they managed to get out with the key, because Mr. 3 survived with the with his wax powers, and so they've escaped with the help of Chopper with a crab. And what I do find interesting is, I didn't mention it before, but like obviously they befriended a camel called Eyelashes, which I didn't really think was a bit random, but apparently it's his hometown, so he has lots of friends, and they're going to stop the civil war. Meanwhile, Luffy has jumped off to fight Sir Crocodile, so I am very excited for volume 20. So yeah, I've enjoyed this volume again. Great, very political art going on here, and obviously they helped Smoker get out, and Smoker has let them go, and Luffy says he likes him, and I think some part of the Navy is good. I still think pirates and the less corrupt, some of them are less corrupt, but there's no black or white in this situation, which is good, I think. So Smoker's going to help the Arabasta and let them go, so I don't think he's such a bad guy. But yeah, there's no black and white. Some of the characters are really complicated, so I've really enjoyed it. So I will see you tomorrow for volume 20. Hello, so it is the next day. It is about 7 o'clock in the evening. I have been to work, finished work, just spent an hour to myself. So we're going to go ahead and jump straight into volume 20 whilst I wait for dinner to cook. So let's go. So that was a crazy couple of first chapters. So Luffy has started fighting Sir Crocodile while everybody is trying to get to the town, and Luffy isn't having a great time, but he's holding his own against Sir Crocodile, because Sir Crocodile's given him 3 minutes, so he is holding his own, even though it's proving pointless. But then they're on about Yubik, and he's trying to create this cloud, but then Luffy attacks him and ends up buried underneath the sand. Now, I think he's gonna end up getting in some water or something. I feel like that's going to affect the final battle, the outcome. But yeah, everybody is heading towards Alberna. I feel like this is the middle of the arc now, so I'm gonna carry on reading. There is a lot happening right now, guys. Nico has rescued Luffy from the sand. So he has kind of met his match with Sir Crocodile, but he is the warlord of the sea, so obviously he's getting across a really powerful enemy. It's a really interesting thing about Nico. She's displaying the characteristics of a character who is probably going to end up betraying the organisation she's working for. Like, she might have a change of heart. I am a writer, I do notice little things like that, so I think she will, but how that's going to happen is up for debate, because it could be any reason. But obviously the king has been kidnapped, and they try to stop the Straw Hats from going in, but Vivi manages, basically the Straw Hats use themselves as distractions to get Vivi to the battle, and she does get in the middle and tries to stop the Royal Army, but because obviously there's the Baroque's, they end up doing the war, and Kozu has seen Vivi, but he wasn't sure, so it'd be interesting if they actually do meet, because Vivi is in danger, so we'll see. But my camera battery is about to die, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish these last 4 chapters of this volume, and I will see you once this volume is finished. Volume 20. Not my favourite volume of the arc so far, but it's still quite good. So basically most of the remainder of the arc is focusing on the battles being taken place, like Sanji with number 2, but most of it is focused on Usopp and on Chopper. And Chopper is basically the MVP of the battle. They managed to win just because they think Luffy's, they're like, the Baroque agents are like, Luffy's dead, and they're like, he can't, Baroque agents are dead, and they're like, he can't be dead, he can't be dead. And they get really motivated. And then Vivi also has noticed that number 2 has disguised himself as Usopp, because not just the bandages, they like have drawn like a scar on their arms. So yeah, it's been an interesting first part of the arc. Can you believe this isn't even one full arc yet? I have the feeling that the arcs are going to get longer and longer, but because the volumes seem to have got thicker all of a sudden. Yeah, and that is the first part of the arc. So I hope you enjoyed this little reading vlog for the first part of the arc, and I will be seeing you next time for part 2 of the Arabasta arc. I'll see you next time.